Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's Damon yet again with another list. And before I get started on that list, I want to say I know some people have been talking about that, to improving the video quality, and I kind of agree. I mean, it's great on Zoom. I can use it on Zoom. Video quality would be the quality is good on Zoom, but it's not that good. Doesn't resonate when I try to record videos. That's for sure. That's fine. Uh, I said basically my strategy on this one will be simply to um I have said basically I was looking for a method how to fix that, basically to find the best webcam in this case. However, I'm wanting to get 50 subscribers at least. If not, it's not worth my time. So that's the first time, and that's the second time I'm telling you guys, I'm not repeating it. Until it's 50 subscribers, do not ask me why. It has to be worth my time. I mean, I wouldn't like to buy basically extra chords for a guitar if I'm not going to get basically better, or basically if nobody will listen to my concert, so why should I in that case? And if you don't understand that by now, well, I think I suggest that you should fornicate yourself with an iron stick. How about that? Now, the part of the matter today is going to be I'm going to rank the Christopher Nolan. I think he has did that around I think it's 10 or 11 movies. Uh, so I will today, let me check just to be sure. I want to check him out. How many? Because, okay, yes, 13. Okay. Oh, includes the Odyssey. Because the Odyssey is scheduled to release this summer, and I intended to go see it. I'm really thrilled. It's the most anticipated movie for me today because Christopher Nolan, at this point, he can plop out a movie and people are interested, as I am. However, I will not count the Odyssey, evidently, in this list. Might revise it in my review for the Odyssey later on. But for now, and I'll let you know where it would fit in my ranking after the review of the movie. And the one movie I cannot put on my list, no matter what, is Following. I never seen the movie, The Following. It's really not that easy to find, and it felt anyway. It felt more like an experimental movie. So in that case, I cannot put it on there. I cannot justify putting it on here right now. So yeah, that will be there for this movie. Now, for the other matter, so that means it leaves 11 movies left for the Christopher Nolan. And I will start out by at the dead last, I would have Interstellar. I know, shocking. The first post Dark Knight trilogy movie project by Christopher Nolan, and I like it, but I don't love it. I don't think it's that rewatchability. It doesn't have a great rewatchability like the other ones of his project. This one, I mean, Matthew McConaughey has a picture perfect performance. So does Jessica Chastain as Murph, the daughter of Matthew McConaughey's Coop. Michael Caine is usual Michael Caine's greatness. Anne Hathaway as Dr. Amelia Brand is great. Casey Affleck is always in the business of trying to make himself better than what he's supposed to be. Like he tries to act out and basically, I would say, try to act in a way that doesn't benefit the story. It's like going to business for himself. I know me and my sister-in-law both hate the guy or hate his acting, and quite frankly, I kind of hate the guy. And I keep mentioning that Good Will Hunting will be improved with him not being around. I mean, he has nothing to Good Will Hunting. His character Morgan kind of act like it was a comedy in a drama. Basically, becomes a teenage uh teenage sophomoric comedy when he's around, but it doesn't match the tone of Good Will Hunting. It doesn't match here the tone of Interstellar. And Interstellar is a very good, it's a pretty good movie, but I didn't feel like it was for me because there's moments where I don't think like they try to make it more physics-like, and then times that basically becomes about love, transcend all things, which I made me roll my eyes, you know. But 2 hours 30 minutes, I think there was a lot of plot conveniences. There's a lot of time dilution, time compressions. Like for example, I mean, Cooper goes to Miller's planet, and 1 hour there is basically 7 hours on 7 years on Earth. Uh, and the amount of time he spent just trying to find basically another type of vegetation for Earth. I think it's a lot of times. I thought it'd be more exploring of planets, but it wasn't really done that way. It was more by time dilution. And while there's great scene in that movie and a damn awesome score from Hans Zimmer, I'm not compelled to rewatch that movie. I'm only compelled to re-listen to the movie score. So that goes dead last. That's number 11. Number 10 will be Tenet in 2020. I went to see that movie at the movie theater, and I felt like was the I don't know the least thrilling opening heist of the all the Chris Nolan movies. I mean, it's in the Opera House, and you think you'd be interested, but I saw it. It's like, Nolan did way better in the past. And it's hard for me to get invested in a Chris Nolan movie, in which case the main character is called the protagonist. Robert Pattinson, in my opinion, steals the show in that movie as Neil. David Washington, the son of David Washington, is very good, but he's not as compelling as Neil. Then you have Sator, the bad guy in Kenneth Branagh, a very good, well-trained Shakespearean actor, but I felt like his character was so typical Russian gangster. And him and his wife are the only ones to actually get some character development, and the whole movie is like an experimental movie in which I think Chris Nolan tried to out complicate Chris Nolan as possible as it could be, and how to make a movie with actions and not have any development and see how it happens. And that's how I feel about this movie. I cannot hate it. I still like it. I still within this, but I know I understand most of the plot, the general gist of the plot, basically. But there's some aspect that I felt like was too complicated to actually make sense, and I do know some of the cast don't even understand that movie. So yeah, that will be number two in that list. Well, the second least favorite Nolan movie. Third one, I have to think about it. It's Insomnia. With it has Al Pacino, Robin Williams, the late great Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank. All of them won an Oscar at one point or another in their career, and the movie is just good. That's how it feels to me. I just find it good. I don't find it thrilling. I don't find it great. It's just the out of the movie. Al Pacino great's a good protagonist. I think it was Will Dormer, a basic investigation between in her case, his partner is Hilary Swank, played greatly by Hilary Swank, one of the most underrated actress in the business today, despite having won two Best Lead Actress Oscars. She's still underrated as all hell. And you have Robin Williams playing the bad guy in there, deliciously bad guy. And to me, it's a shame that guy never played the Riddler. I mean, it's a shame that Warner Brothers played him during the negotiation for the Batman 89 rather than just saying, hey, we're going to see what the Jack says instead. Because imagine if Robin Williams would have been the bad guy of Batman Continues with Michael Keaton, could have Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. It would have ended greatly the trilogy of Burton rather than just leave it at duology. But I digress. You saw that Robin Williams had a lot of potential playing the bad guy. In this movie, on the follow-up movie, the same year, 1 Hour Photo, where he plays a very creepy guy called Psy. I mean, the whole movie is a very intriguing investigation, police investigation, which leads to, lots of basically dialogue between Robin Williams and Al Pacino, which I felt was the best part of the movie. But even then, I'm not gonna say the movie was more than I liked it, or it was pretty good. It was pretty good, but it's not something I would buy on DVD. So now, number 8 in terms of movies, it will be The Prestige. Prestige is damn good. And from now on, it's very good there. So basically, if it's lower, it means still pretty good. But I feel like one thing I don't like in terms of movies, taking a pairing, basically a successful pairing from another franchise and try to repair it in another movie. I mean, you can do this. For example, I know that Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder did a lot of movies together, and that's fine. But it worked because they were different type of comedies, like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. It works there. However, it wouldn't work if, let's say, you have Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Let's say they would have a franchise. I'm trying to see what franchise I can invent. Let's say they basically would have been a franchise in 48 years later, and I like 3 installment of that. It'd be the first time they team up, and then they basically do a comedy together and they play partners again. It's like it ruins a little bit of the illusion, you know? I remember in Maverick when basically Mel Gibson unmasked one of the robbers and Dan Glover, and there's like the team music of Lethal Weapon for a minute. It's like it's funny, but it leads to nowhere. It's just like haha, and that's it. But even then, it was just a little moment. That's fine. But imagine if they had been partnered for the rest of the movie Maverick. It kind of does ruin it. Same thing here. Like Christian Bale, I don't mind him being the lead, but I don't think Michael Caine should have been basically his associate, his accomplice in this one. It should have been somebody else. Hugh Jackman played a great movie. I mean, you have Batman, you have Wolverine, you have Alfred, you have Black Widow in the same movie. And to me, it's very good. But again, you could have basically had somebody else instead of Michael Caine. Michael Caine got played another role, that's fine. But the fact that it's still paired up with Christian Bale, like the same kind of relationship they have, I think kind of plays against the movie to me. But that's me. That's just me. So yeah, really good twist though at the end. And I thought the standout of the movie in terms of acting was Hugh Jackman as Robert Allen Jr. Okay, so now we do the next one on the list is the most recent movie of Christopher Nolan, which is Oppenheimer in 2023, and damn is it good. It's a biographical movie. You're supposed to just feel like blah, but I watched the movie, and for this, it made you thrilled, even in scenes where they're just talking. It's intense when they just talk. There's only one scene where basically there's really action. That's it. Everything is about basically it could be like a court drama, but you're on the edge of your seat all the time. The last time I remember being on the edge of my seat for the equivalent of a court drama was A Few Good Men or Philadelphia. Men, I mean, it's those type of movies where it's like they make you they're intense and not a single punch is thrown. But I mean, Cillian Murphy really had a performance of a lifetime as Oppenheimer. He deserved every bit of the Oscars. And Emily Blunt, I thought, was overshadowed the movie, but played a very, very good version of the wife of Oppenheimer. Florence Pugh was also good as the lover of Oppenheimer. But I thought the person who quite frankly stole the show in Oppenheimer was Robert Downey Jr. as Louis Straw. I mean, and that says something that might be his top among his top three performance ever. Look at all that great performance the guy Robert Downey Jr. added over his career. He was Chaplin in the movie Chaplin, perfectly. He was Kirk Lazarus in Tropic Thunder. He was Iron Man, Tony Stark for the whole MCU journey, and he was also Sherlock Holmes. Played greatly in the Guy Ritchie movies. And FYI, I do want a Sherlock Holmes movie number three to finish out the trilogy by Guy Ritchie, and I want Downey Jr. and Jude Law to come back. And but still, this one he played Louis Strauss as, and I thought it was funny because he was the antithesis of what Tony Stark was. Was Tony Stark was basically arrogant, but felt like basically brave, courageous. This guy felt like a slimy, sniveling, and quite frankly, backstabbing official. That's how he felt like. He felt across as this, and basically, I like it. You got to come up and some comments at the end. I mean, David, I don't remember his last name, but the one who did Polka Dot Man and was in Dark Knight was in that movie too, and he was in a very good role there. Gary Oldman played Roosevelt, the president of the United States there, and a cameo, and it was very, very good. Fun reversal of role in this case, rather than basically Cillian Murphy being a bad guy and Gary Oldman being the good guy, it's the opposite way around that movie. Then you have Tom Conti, who was also the prison Alfred in Dark Knight Rises. In this case, he's playing Einstein, and I like the dynamic between Cillian Murphy and Tom Conti's Albert Einstein. I really like that dynamic, that movie. Josh Hartnett, I mean, Josh Hartnett, Matthew Modine, plenty of great performance in that movie. I can't list them all because it'll take the entire video, but it's awesome movie and something, even for a biographical movie, which isn't something I would own on DVD, it's something I wanted to buy on DVD. It's that good, and you can see what the Barbenheimer thing was such a phenomenon, and it resulted in one of the, I think, among the top 5 weekends in cinema history. That says something. So now, next up on that list, what will be the next movie that we'll put on there? Next one. Now I think we're in the top 6. Yeah, top 6. Now it's Dunkirk. Dunkirk. It is, to be spoiler, that's a spoiler. I think it's my favorite movie of Nolan after the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, since he did the Dark Knight trilogy, that of all the movies done since then, that's my favorite movie. And I felt like it was one of the shortest one, but it didn't overstay its welcome. I mean, it's about World War II, basically the evacuation of Dunkirk, and to provide hope for people there. So I really enjoyed it. I thought Mark Rylance was very good, as was Tom Hardy as Ferrier, which I find funny that he still wore a mask the whole point. It's like not the first time. I'm just imagining every time that Tom Hardy wants to do a movie from now on with Christopher Nolan, will say, wear a mask. Like, ah, damn it. Uh, Barry Keoghan, sorry, the guy who did the Joker in the Batman movie, in the lead scene, he's in there and he did a good performance. Of course, Finn, there's a Finn, some film wolf art. It's like, I don't know his last name, but he did the main character, Tommy. You see the story through the eyes of Tommy. And you have Harry Styles in the movie, and I thought everybody did a great performance, as did Kenan Bronnen. Very, very good there. So yeah, that's number six. Number five, I'm in the top five. So you know they're awesome. Number five is Memento, the movie that made me discover Christopher Nolan. Damn good movie. I like the structure of the movie that they start with the end and end with the beginning. Guy Pearce, I'm still, I think it's shocking, honestly, shameful that he never was nominated for that movie. He was nominated for The Brutalist, but he was nominated at the movie theater, the Oscars for that performance. It was excellent there, as was Carrie Ann Moss as uh, Leonard Shelby's, which is the character of Guy Pearce's wife, wasn't nominated. And Joe Pantasiano, the guy who did Ralphie in the Sopranos, was the chief of police in Bad Boys, or was Cypher in The Matrix, or the promoter in Ready to Rumble for any wrestling fans. He wasn't nominated. None of them were. The movie was, but it's like the actor should have been. It was a very good movie, very twisted, and I enjoyed all of it. So now in top four. Number four is basically what reunited my love for Batman on movies. After it was dormant for many years, is Batman Begins. You'll be probably surprised. You're surprised that maybe it's not number two or three, but it's number four. Because as much as I enjoyed that movie, I felt it was an excellent movie. I still maintain that kind of give the edge over Batman 89. If it stopped there, I would say if it ended there and there was no follow-up, I would say Batman 89 would still be my favorite Batman movie of all time rather than being third. And I felt like Batman Begins was the safest of those three movies. I mean, it's the beginning of Batman, and it was played in such a way that I feel that's my opinion, we could have actually placed it together. They could have basically been you could place it in a way that is basically the movie would have been a prequel to Batman 89 if you look at it that way. It could have basically been Michael Keaton basically trained together, basically got it. It basically, you could have put Batman Begins can watch Batman 89, and it would be kind of more Korean than you think it is. Of course, it wouldn't be the same thing, but that's how I view it. I mean, Christian Bale as Batman, I love the outfit, by the way. Uh, I love him as Batman. I felt like this is the one Batman I wouldn't mind seeing Batman 4 with this guy. Michael Caine. What can I say about Michael Caine's performance? He had a lot of empathy, but tough love to his Alfred, and the father figure relationship he has with Bruce Wayne is always excellent. Gary Oldman to me plays the best version of James Gordon there is. Jeffrey Wright though comes close, but it's still Gary Oldman for me, and I find it weird because he's a number one maybe character actor, but he spent most of his time playing bad guys, creepy bad guys. In this case, he plays one of the ultimate good guys, so that's great. Morgan Freeman is always Morgan Freeman. Liam Neeson. I mean, here's a guy who played tons of great characters in the movie. Oscar Schindler, Qui-Gon Jinn, Brian Mills, Frank Drebin now, and Ra's al Ghul. Talk about very eclectic bunch of roles, and it's like it fits there because of all those roles, he's the one person of those famous roles is the one that he plays a bad guy. And unlike similarly to Gary Oldman, I'm so used to see Liam Neeson play a good guy that's kind of weird seeing as a bad guy, but in case it make it weak, it make it very, very Korean and very, very passionate, very, very enthralling for that movie. Ken Watanabe as the imposter to Ra's al Ghul is also great because of false direction. The only downfall could be maybe Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes is good, but sometimes I felt like her character, the way it was written, that's where I could say basically that's people can say about plot holes. Sometimes she felt wishy-washy. Like at first, she said that Bruce Wayne is basically too much a playboy. Then she discovers who Batman is. Then she complains that, oh, I maybe I wanted back the playboy. It's like, which one do you want? Which version of Bruce Wayne do you want? He showed you that he's pretending to be a playboy because guess what? If he doesn't pretend, people like Robert Pattinson, anybody can put one and one together and think, hey, you know what? He's Batman. In this case, he makes sure to do all within his power that nobody can discover that Bruce Wayne is Batman. And you're still complaining at the end. He saved your life. He saved the kid's life. He showed you who he was, and you still complain. I still understand the stories they can be together, but the way you complain, the character complain and complain that movie, it's like she kept complaining. She was condescending to Bruce. Like, sorry, some of us have to work. Like, think about this. It's a character, even in the day, like she didn't seem to have been condescendingly. She was condescending to Bruce Wayne when he went to the trial about she couldn't understand why he really detested Joe Chill, why it was difficult for him to be the trial of his parents. Things like that, I felt like her character lacked empathy. Like, hello, Bruce Wayne lost his parents to Joe Chill. Even if you reform, can you understand why he doesn't want Joe Chill to be on the street? Like things like that that made me dislike her so much. It might not be Katie Holmes' fault, but the way she was written is just like very lack of empathy. But the whole movie, I mean, Cillian Murphy as his character was excellent. The late great Tom Wilkinson as Carmine Falcone. Again, I think it's the best Carmine Falcone there, though John Turturro comes close again. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the movie. And Cillian Murphy, like I said, Doctor as his character was damn good casting. Just wish we had more Scarecrow. But even then, I really enjoyed that movie. But to me, the reason why it's number four is the first one I felt was excellent, but not outstanding. Even then, I went to see it twice in the movie theater, and I loved every bit. So, what am I saying? I'm saying it's great, just not the best for me. Number three, Inception. My favorite non-Dark Knight trilogy movie from Nolan is Inception. And it's basically been done in 2010. And for you newbies, I'll give you a little I give you history context, which actually hurts me knowing that it's only 16 years ago. It's like, where did the time go? The moment he did Dark Knight, people kept answering Christopher Nolan, when's going to be the third one? When's going to be the third one? The guy was bombarded. And Chris Nolan is not exactly Mr. social media savvy, but even then he was annoyed by that. So when it was announced it was Inception, people thought Inception was secretly a Dark Knight sequel movie. And I've heard of basically people being angry going to movie theater in 2010 when Inception did not turn out to be secretly a Dark Knight trilogy movie. It was its own movie. Think about that. Like, the guy never announced that it will be a Batman movie. And honestly, I like the strategy for any Batman purist or any Batman director to say, I'll do a Batman movie, then I take a movie that's not about Batman. It feels like it refreshes. It's like refreshes their spirit, their love for cinema. Because if you only do one thing, after a while, of course, then like people not want to continue to do some more Batman movies or whichever franchise movies you do. I like the fact there was a break. And Inception was a damn good movie. The moment it's like Leonardo DiCaprio cast the leads, like that's it. Leo and Chris Nolan, I'm in. Then you have more of the cast. You have Marion Cotillard as Mal. Leo was Dom Cobb, was basically a thief, basically extracted, basically trying task into implanting a false idea in somebody's mind. You have Ken Watanabe as Saito, the CEO of an enterprise. So, you have Cillian Murphy as Robert Fisher, and you felt for the character as well as you felt for his feelings toward his dad there. Uh, Tom Hardy. I discovered Tom Hardy through this movie as Eames, and he was easily the most fun person character in the bunch. You had Elliot Page as Ariadne, basically the lead actor beside Leo. You had Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Archer, and the bad guy was basically a psychological manifestation of Mal, Dom Cobb's ex-wife who died, and in part to what Dom Cobb did. So it's his guilt. It's a manifestation of guilt coming back to haunt him. The whole movie is damn good. And it could be simple as whatever it presents to you on screen, but it also could be more complex. For example, the ending, the famous ending, the top at the end, the top spinning top. That to me was a movie that ended perfectly. Like when people ask me, did it not? It's like, does it matter? Like it fit the movie. I really enjoyed all of it. And by the way, the spinning alleyway fight scene was excellent. Like I love that movie. I love what it represents. Not top two. I was talking about the spinning base alleyway, which was one thing in terms of fight scene I remember for Inception. For Dark Knight Rises, what I remember is that plane heist at the beginning. And that's the scene I remember. I mean, in terms of action, in terms of plane heist, there's always one big set one. And that's the big set one. That's what I mean. But I love the whole movie. That's my second favorite Nolan movie ever. And what can I say about this? Okay, it's the last Dark Knight movie from this trilogy, which I would have hoped at one point would be a quadrilogy, but if it's not the case, then it's not the case. And Tom Hardy plays a great menacing Bane. Christian Bale, I know Christian Bale supposedly is down on his luck. No, sorry. Christian Bale is down on his performance. Basically, I mean, he's down on his performance as Batman the trilogy, but I would say also not down on his luck, but I would say there last he hasn't done a great movie in a while. That's what I will say. He hasn't done a great movie since Ford versus Ferrari. That will say. So professionally speaking, he is down on his luck, and he needs to find something like because I mean, his talent deserved better. But as I always felt like he was a damn good Batman, but I also realized that sometimes Christian Bale did not understand the assignment, as in Batman he's never the most exciting one of the bunch. And that's why I thought that Christian Bale thought he'd be like the most like the person you can't look away. It's never been Batman. Batman's more neutral. He's compelling, interesting, but he's not the one that you're always riveted at, especially not in a movie with Joker. In this case, there's as with Tom Hardy, of course, Tom Hardy is more menacing, but you also say Christian Bale, the foundation of Batman is there for all the three movies, whereas the villain is usually one movie and they're gone. So that's okay. And I felt like sometimes Christian Bale let his ego get in the way of this. Like he felt bad because his ego said, I should be the one that people keep talking about. It's like you're part of it. And even then, it's not a one performance movie. Those movies are ensemble movies. So it's not The Fighter, it's not American Psycho, it's not Battle of the Sun, it's Batman, The Dark Knight. So it's not just about you. But I really enjoyed over all installment the performance of Christian Bale. And I will dare say, I will defend people who complain about the bad voice. Where's the trigger? It's like, yeah, he does the bad voice. So what? That's my answer there. It's like in the novelization of all those Dark Knight trilogy thing, it's like the reason why it's dark is because his voice is basically grumbly is because he used a voice modulator. They didn't use a voice modulator for filming the movie, but that's what it's supposed to be. That's why his voice is distorted. They did it for Batman, Superman. Maybe they should have done that way, but still. So when I hear people complain about it, I just say, seriously, man, I could complain about many things. I love your so-called movies that you love. Sometimes I could say that makes no sense, but you're gonna defend like crazy. And second of all, this it's a lie saying that people Dark Knight Rises were hated by many. Truth be told, and it's ended there about this argument. It's 87% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics, 90% from the audience loved the movie. So only 10% didn't like it. So quite frankly, if you think that most majority that if you didn't like it, that's your wrong opinion. You're entitled to be wrong. But do not tell me that most people hated it because then you're full of shit. You're forever full of shit. Anyway, I love this movie because Christian Bale's performance, Tom Hardy as Bane was menacing, the scene where it breaks Batman, but also Talia al Ghul was very good as Talia al Ghul and Miranda Tate. Even though I'll be honest, the twist was kind of obvious. You didn't need to read any spoilers to know this because there was many think of restoring balance, do what's necessary. If you watch Batman Begins, you kind of saw it happening. Uh, Anna Way was damn good as Catwoman, the second best live action Catwoman there is. That's right, I said it. Zoe Kravitz was overrated. Was good but overrated and always came up as being untitled. Anyway, knowing that Zoe Kravitz come up as being untitled in real life because she's a nipple baby. But anyway, Anna Hathaway was very good. I thought she was sly, stealthy, but at the same time was a badass. Was going quips, but I didn't feel like she was unhinged. Like my number one Catwoman in being Michelle Pfeiffer, she wasn't unhinged. She was basically like she was badass, had some emotion. You could see she was still protective of herself, of her core, of her. She had emotional barriers, but she didn't come up as unhinged like Catwoman from with Michelle Pfeiffer. She wasn't hell bent on revenge. She was hell bent on self-preservation and on getting her new start. So I like that difference there, and I like the fact there's a nice ending with Batman and Catwoman in the end, which both of them deserved. People can complain, oh, but he doesn't come to you being Batman. Well, Batman, realistically, if you do it realistically, Batman cannot stay Batman for the rest of his life. He needs to move on after a while. The cartoons, like if there's a Batman Beyond movie, Batman has to be basically the whoever does Bruce Wayne, Michael Keaton, cannot stay Bruce Wayne like from he's 65 to 75. No, he must have a long break where he's not Batman, because if not, it makes no sense that nobody sees the injury that happens, nobody puts two and two together as Batman. He has to take a long break, one way or another. And I'll defend the fact of, oh, but how come he took a long break after Rachel Dawes' demise? It's like, why wouldn't he? She didn't just represent his long lost love or the one that got away or the one he loved. It's also it represents his escape. She was the reason why he wanted to escape. He wanted to escape. He didn't want to stay Batman forever. He knew this. And the moment she died, to him, so did his dream. And yeah, he showed up in public afterwards showing this, but it felt like one of his projects was the clean energy thing failed. And he felt, I felt as Bruce Wayne public. I felt as public figurehead. I felt as Bruce Wayne friend and private. And Batman's not needed. Why should I stay? So he was basically being a recluse like Howard the Huge. And yeah. And when he came back, the only person he basically was in contact with in all those years was Alfred. And he didn't see the point. The moment he felt like going back to being Bruce Wayne, when it was tempted being Bruce Wayne to become Batman, he wasn't prepared. He was basically a bit of Rocky 3. He didn't train, he didn't do his homework. Except Rocky did it because of, arrogance and wanted to just be done with it. And honestly saw retirement. I'm going to retire anyway. Nothing's going to be bad. It's going to happen. And Mickey dies. In this case, it's like, okay, I'll just take care of him like I never took care of any criminal in Gotham. Not knowing that this guy was angry and hungry like Batman, Bruce Wayne was the beginning, and could not be intimidated or bullied physically like Batman could do to any other criminal. No. He didn't take his homework seriously and lead to him being, quite frankly, physically dismantled in the famous Batman vs. Bane first encounter, like in the comics. And I was in a movie theater, people were still gasping at this because it's like you didn't expect to see that in a movie, like to see the heroes being dismantled like that with ease, and you saw that. Because Batman wasn't being Batman for the right reason. Batman was being Batman because he saw this as a way to an end. He didn't see the point. He didn't see the point of Bruce Wayne continuing on. He didn't see the point of continuing on. And Alfred was basically saying, I set your bones, I sewed you up, but I will not bury you. And people forget what he meant. Is basically saying Alfred seen how many people, Wayne family members die, and he was tired, and especially not seeing the person he considered as to be his surrogate son die too. So he didn't desert. Alfred didn't desert Bruce. He just wasn't enabling him anymore. The first one, Batman Begins, at first he wasn't sure he was Batman, but he saw a good reason for it, basically for Gotham. So that's why basically in The Dark Knight, even then was in complete approving, he always mentioned there that what would be the point, that one day he'll be forced to make our decision. That was the point of Dark Knight. He wasn't completely always approving of Batman, but while he's there, do it for the right reason. He encouraged that if you're going to be Batman, do it for the right reason, which is why after Rachel's death, he say, well, in the meantime, they have to make do with you. Because that's the point of Batman. You can't make the decision and nobody else can, the right decisions. But you knew it came from a place of that Batman still had some fears. Batman still wanted to preserve himself. In the last one, rewatch the first half, and Batman's not there for the right reason. Batman wants to take care of Bane just to prove a point to himself. Basically, like, I mean, imagine if an athlete comes back to fighting, to wrestling, to any contact sport, but didn't really train. Just I'll just do what I used to do. But you're not prepared to. People could say basically this is a one-way ticket to humiliation, to loss, to pain. And that's the key theme of the movie, pain. And that's how he got this. That's why the second fight, he was fearful. He was fearful they would fail and the city would pay the price. So that's why he decides to fight more strategically toward Bane. And that's how he beat him. Being more strategic, realize he's not gonna out brute strength Bane, but he's gonna if he basically fights more like a strategic fighter, he will win. And that's what happens. So yeah, I've spoken of the performance I could say about Joseph Gordon-Levitt was very good as well. I mean, Matthew Modine was fine. I love the cameo by Cillian Murphy, and also Ben Mendelsohn, as well as Bern Gomez, sorry. Both of them play really slimy bad guys, like they were the corporate bad guys in the movie, like Eric Roberts is, or Tom Wilkinson is. I really enjoyed that. As this Josh Stewart, more or less being their version of Deadshot in that movie. I really enjoyed that. It's 2 hours, 15 minutes, and it doesn't feel that length. It feels like it goes flybys. Uh, Nestor Carbonelli, that's the name. The mayor is very good as Mayor Garcia. What else can I say? Oh yeah, I've talked about Planet Eyes be the great movie scene. That's where the Batman's basically the Batman versus Bane fights. But one scene to me is the most thrilling scene in the whole movie is the scene where he leaves the Lazarus pit. And the reason is because I thought it followed this. And not many people pick it up that basically, of all the time that Bruce Wayne fell, Batman fell, he's never the one who picks himself back up. In the first one, the first Spider-Man of Batman Begins, he falls in the pit where there's a bats, which caused for him to develop a dread of bats. It's his dad who picks him up and retrieves him from this. Later on in the movie, at the end of Batman Begins, when basically he's trapped under a fire logs due to Ra's al Ghul's betrayal, it's not himself who rescued. It's not Bruce Wayne who rescued himself. It's Alfred who does. And Red said, "What's the point of those? It was the point of all those push-ups. He can't lift a bloody log." I'm not gonna do Michael Caine's voice, but who rescues him? And who basically writer that basically gets him up, basically leads him down the elevator in the Batcave to protect him from the fire. It's Alfred. Sorry there. And in the Dark Knight, basically he's forced to make a choice. He like to save Gordon, and he even tries to save Harvey Dent from himself, and especially saving Gordon's boy. He uses Batarang to swing by, but to take away, basically to protect Harvey Dent's son and to take away Harvey Dent, but by accident he drops Harvey and he drops him to his death. Batman cannot hang on to the ledge and he falls to the floor, leading Gordon to be worried about the well-being of Batman, the health and well-being, was even ready to call some of his trusted officer, not for to bring the Batman in, but to basically get him some medical help. Until Bruce Wayne, Batman, took the walkie-talkie away from Gordon. So again, in this case, it was Gordon helping Batman. It's only in Dark Knight Rises. It's only in Dark Knight Rises when he has to basically confront his fears and know Alfred cannot help him up. His parents cannot help him. Gordon cannot help him. He has to leave the pit, and he cannot just do it because he's angry. He has to do it for the right reason. And the right reason is he's afraid that without him, the city is going to suffer the consequences of all his years of being a vigilante to help the city, all his efforts to try to resort to a better city, ironically, might lead to its demise. That's the reason why he comes back. And the poignant moments of the Hans Zimmer score, by the way, Hans Zimmer score during the whole trilogy, like, I don't know which one I could prefer between the Elfman score and the Zimmer score, and that says something that every Batman movie seems to have. Damn good scores. And it's like the Why Do We Fall song from this original score of Batman. It's like when he leaves the Lazarus pit and you hear Deshi Basara. Deshi Basara, it's like I was on edge. Like, sorry, Dwayne, but there were goosebumps, legit goosebumps there when you hear this. It's like he's not punching somebody; he's just trying to escape of a pit, and he's not even dressed as Batman. But I was thrilled. And then you see the bat there. It's like, there you go. The fear goes finds him again, and the Batman in him comes back after months of being stuck here. He's back. So yeah, they won't like it. And yeah, there's plot convenience in this movie. Yeah, the brace thing might not be exactly how it works on this, but at the same time, I never thought it fixes the knee completely. I just thought it's like a quick fix. Like he doesn't feel pain when he does this. Just like a wrestler sometimes wear like a knee brace. It doesn't mean they don't feel pain. It just means, hey, you know what? It helps the knee articulations, but doesn't fix the pain already. Just like the punch in the back doesn't solve the bulging disc. I just thought, you know what? He can still walk, but he's in great pain too. But he can still act like he's not basically going to be immobile. So yeah. And the good old, oh, how does Batman goes back to Gotham? He has one day left. No, it was basically non-linear. It was done. He basically left the pit maybe 1 week or so before, at least 2 weeks beforehand. Basically, he's used to be Batman, used with the leaked shadowy training to be a ninja, and not to basically hide himself within the shadow. Use the basically surroundings to mind his surroundings to basically, you know, go from A to B. So that's how I feel like maybe he hid under basically in a food or services truck, and that's how I got back to Gotham. And in the end, the autopilot basically during that time, you might have 2 weeks, you might have returned like a week, 2 weeks before the bomb was supposed to go off, and he spent the entire week fixing the autopilot, doing all those things, and doing his project where his sign was burning against the city. That's how I saw it. But again, this is a movie that people, when the haters that complain about it, I feel like didn't want the same movie and honestly didn't want to think about it. The reason why they were bothered is because it's not the movie of Batman they would have done. They probably have basically made it a crossover movie like the Avengers. And honestly, Dark Knight Rises ages better than the Avengers. Don't believe me? Look at the directors between the difference between the two directors. You have Chris Nolan compared to Joss Whedon. Enough said. Screw Joss Whedon. He was overrated. He's an overrated asshole anyway. Apart from Buffy the Vampire Hunter. Take away that franchise and nothing he's done on his own actually sold. So screw him. Anyway, I love the performance of that movie, and I can't say enough good things about that movie. But that's not number one. Number one is The Dark Knight. And it is with a passion. Yes, I enjoy Dark Knight Rises less than Dark Knight, but every trilogy has a peak. And I think people need to be reminded that. And if Batman Begins is the worst movie of the bunch, you're damn spoiled. I did a video about how many trilogies fumble. Like it or not, there's no fumbling in that trilogy at all. If you don't believe me, I've watched Batman Dark Knight Rises 6 times in movie theaters, and at the end, at least 3 times out of 6, I see people clap at the end of the movie. And I hear them clap during the movie. Not as much as Dark Knight, though. That I've seen it 5 times. Like they would say 5 times, 5 times, 5 times, 5 times, 5 times movie theater. In both of those movies, twice each in IMAX. Boy, was it worth. Dark Knight to me represents everything that's good in comic book movies, and not just because of Heath Ledger's Joker, which is damn good, knowing that my favorite actor, at least in the top three, is Jack Nicholson. And not just for the Joker, which to me is very good, but also for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Departed. I've seen that most of my favorite movies happen to have Jack Nicholson in them. But even then, it's a close number two because number one is Heath Ledger. Might not be the comic book Joker, but I don't care. And again, I go back to Christian Bale saying, "Oh, I was overshadowed by Joker and Dark Knights. I'm not happy about that." Well, every Joker in every movie overshadowed their Batman, unless you're Jared Leto. If you do a great job as Joker, you overshadow Batman right away. Happened with Ledger to Christian Bale. Happened with Jack Nicholson to Michael Keaton. And I remember that movie was billed as Jack Nicholson first and Michael Keaton second. And it happened in Iron Man movie. It's like Batman Mask of Phantasm with Mark Hamill, Joker overshadowing Kevin Conroy's Batman. So that to me is null and void as an argument. Plus, we already established Batman Begins, so it's okay. But Christian Bale had excellent performance as always. Maggie Gyllenhaal I thought was much better than Katie Holmes as portraying Rachel has been understanding fair but at her limit. You could understand why she had limit with Bruce Wayne. You understood where I didn't understood with Katie Holmes. You understood it there because she had love in Harvey Dent, and Bruce Wayne embraced very much asking her to wait, and you could completely understand why she couldn't. I mean, her life is also at stake. Harvey Dent also to me was the underrated person character that we don't talk enough about. Aaron Eckhart was a damn good job as Harvey Dent and Two-Face, and I'm not sure if the next one will be Sebastian Stan, who's going to play it in the sequel, but I'm intrigued. But they have big shoes to fill, in my opinion. Uh, Eric Roberts was also very good in there, and that's after years of doing B movies. I was like kind of, you know, I I was very very intrigued. Like, oh, Eric Roberts, really? And he did a damn good performance as Sal Maroni. As a matter of fact, I think of all the gangsters in the Dark Knight universe, I thought he was the best of those ones. And I know 2 years later, The Expendable was also good, but I felt like part of those two movies, he went back to basically B movies afterwards. Which is sad because he's much more talented than he thinks he is. And he's wasting his talent on some B movies. But it's not just him. The guy who does Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat 2 is in there as, as the accountant for the mob is very good. You have Michael J. White here as Gamble, former Spawn, damn good. You have Zeus in this movie, Zeus, who usually does funny movies. We did Friday, but apart from Friday, usually it's like I seen a movie, it's gonna be a joke. This one, he actually showed some serious range in this movie. Man, everything in this movie was gold. And not just is the movies go, like I don't have to explain the plot, and I will not. But think about this: it's the reason why there's 10 movies the Academy Award with, uh, not there's 10 movies that are nominated Academy Awards now because everybody, rightfully so, was pissed that it wasn't nominated, and supposedly the reason why it was nominated was because the crusty old voters wanted the reader instead. Why? I don't know. Maybe because Kate Winslet wasn't there. I like Kate Winslet. She's a damn good actress, my top 5 actress. But guess what? Revolutionary Road was the role she had been nominated for, not the reader where she's with a kid. And nobody saw the reader anyway. Everybody saw The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was a movie of 2008 and should have won. And not just the, best supporting actor, which it at least did, but the best movie. It's a movie I rewatch every year. Every year I learn something new. Up with Batman Begins. I watch the trilogy completely every year. I watch Inception every 2 years. So that's my list of Christopher Nolan. How would you rank? So let me know what you think down below in the comments below. And let me know what you think. What would be your favorite Christopher Nolan? I'm intrigued to find them. So on that note, take care. Have a good one.